Today's story: the King of Abyssinia. Abyssinia is currently known as Ethiopia. When Quraysh increased the harm on the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Prophet Muhammad, who was saved from Quraysh thanks to his uncle Abu Talib, noticed that his companions, who had no one to protect them, were suffering more and more. This time, the Prophet took one of the most important decisions in the history of Islam: the decision of migrating to Abyssinia. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Go to the land of Abyssinia. They have a king in whose land nobody gets wronged. It is a land of righteousness for you, until Allah saves you all of what you suffer from." But why did the Prophet, peace be upon him, choose Abyssinia in particular? Well, I'll tell you why. He chose it for one single reason. It is because of justice. You guys, amongst the last names is al-Adl, which means the judge or the fair. The reason why the Prophet chose Abyssinia is for having a king in whose land nobody gets wronged. If fairness exists in any state or any country, it shall have no conflicts or problems. Justice and fairness is a matter that cannot be explained roughly. However, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on his soul, summarized justice in one sentence. He said, Allah supports any righteous or fair nation, even if the people were disbelievers, and lets down the wrongful nation, even if the people were Muslims. So anyway, Muslims started migrating to Abyssinia, as this was the first migration in Islam. The first who migrated from Muslims were two persons, and the third was the Caliph of Islam, Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu, and his wife Ruqayya, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Muslims migrated to the King of Abyssinia, in whose land nobody gets wronged, which triggered Quraysh's desire for harming the Muslims even more. So they sent two men, Amr ibn al-As wa Abdullah ibn Abi Rabi'a, to Abyssinia to bring back the Muslims who ran away and migrated. Amr ibn al-As was a friend of al-Najashi, the king of Abyssinia, but they weren't any friends. They were really close friends. So Quraysh sent those two men loaded with gifts to be given to al-Najashi and his ministers. This was some sort of a bribery. In exchange for the migrating Muslims, Quraysh gave Amr ibn al-As and Ibn Rabi'a simple instructions. They told them to give the gifts to the ministers of al-Najashi so they can give back the Muslims. So what happened is that they gave the gifts to the king, as they had a deal with ministers to support them and get on their side when they speak to the king in regards of the Muslims. They met al-Najashi and gave him his gifts that were selected carefully by Quraysh tribes. They gifted him things that he really liked. This was a well-studied plan, you guys. They sent al-Najashi's best friend, Amr ibn al-As, loaded with his favorite things. However, let us not forget that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not choose Abyssinia for no reason. He chose it for the righteousness and justice. They have a king in whose land nobody gets wronged. Regardless to being a close friend or to having a lot of valuable gifts, for al-Najashi, fairness is fairness. So Amr ibn al-As stood before al-Najashi and started complaining as he said, "King of Abyssinia, some people amongst us in Quraysh left the religion of their ancestors and refused to embrace your religion. And they came up with a new religion which we do not know. And after that, they migrated to your land. We are sent by their tribes and fathers and their relatives to send them back to Mecca, as they are the ones responsible for the embarrassment they caused." The ministers of al-Najashi at this moment spoke and supported Amr ibn al-As. The perfect plan was going as planned because of all the gifts he brought. The ministers said, "Yes, we agree, mighty king. Their families know them better, and they did not embrace your religion, so they are not worthy of your protection. At this moment, it was righteousness and fairness that changed the plot. The king got really angry and said, "No, I swear I shall not send them back until I invite them here and talk to them in person to see what they are up to. They are nothing but a bunch of people who seeked refuge in me amongst other kings. If they will like what you claim, I shall send them back to you to Mecca. But if they weren't, they shall stay here under my protection." So how did al-Najashi react to the Muslims? We shall find out next week. I'll see you guys next time.